And joining me this morning is TV50 race analyst Jim Keene. Jim, what can we expect today?
Good morning, Elisha.
They're also looking at it for potential uses in renewable energy. Make sure they're unwrapped so that the firefighters know what they're getting. So the section of land at Railroad Square is on track to be developed. But what about the smart train itself? And newspaper staffs aren't the only thing shrinking. You may have noticed the actual size of your morning paper has gotten a little smaller as well.
Elisha.
Well, actually, Curtis and Jim, you were just saying you guys have the best seat in house. I think mine's actually a little better. They're going to be passing me any moment now. The first female Republican nominee for vice president went before the convention and the American people last night. You've probably heard of wife swap, but have you heard of bike swap? Now, other local transit agencies aren't so sure what to do about their budget deficit. San Francisco supervisors are baffled over how to handle Muni's proposed budget for next year, even smaller, and it talks to you. Hype continues to mount over Cupertino-based Apple's new iPod Shuffle. Water conservation efforts continue in Sonoma County. Just this week, the town of Windsor approved a water shortage emergency ordinance. I hit the streets of Windsor to find out what the new ordinance means for you. Windsor Town Manager Matt Mullen says enforcement of the new ordinance will be more like gentle encouragement than heavy policing.
We're promoting this program more as a cooperative sort of thing, where we don't use the word up here water cops.
Windsor's approach is different from Santa Rosa's, which is using a water cop program. But one thing both municipalities do have in common is how they plan to react in very extreme cases.
For a small majority of people, if they ignore the warnings and they ignore the efforts by us to try to help them, we do have enforcement mechanisms that certainly are more punitive, which can include up to and including termination of somebody's water service.
One place you'll definitely notice a difference: at the dinner table. Under the ordinance, you won't be served water at Windsor restaurants unless you ask for it.
We're just very safe on how much we pour now. We don't put pitchers on the table anymore unless they ask. If it's a large party and they want a carafe of water, we give it to them.
Restaurant owner Deep Lung says the town forewarned her about the change, prompting her to place little signs on the tables. She agrees the change will help save water.
We waste a lot of water if we just bring them out. People don't even drink it, and we have to bring them back in, and we just dump that away.
Another change under the ordinance: you can't fill new swimming pools. Coincidentally, Windsor approved a new town swimming pool this week, but town manager Mullen says that shouldn't be a problem.
We're still a few years away from being in a position where we're going to be able to build the swim center, and hopefully by that time, whatever problems we're having now will be a thing of the past.
In Windsor, Elisha Rivers, TV50 News. A new exhibit has catwalked its way into Santa Rosa, or make that dog walked. Half a dozen high-fashion outfits by celebrity designers are currently on display at the Charles M. Schulz Museum, and they're all inspired by America's favorite hot dog and his pals. Museum marketing director Gina Hunsinger was on hand to witness their New York Fashion Week debut in early September.
As exciting as you would expect a New York fashion show to be, but plus it was more fun because a lot of designers got involved, and there wasn't any competition because it's all about peanuts. So I think everyone was having a great time. It was such a tribute to what Charles Schulz brought to the world.
And while the fashions may be inspired by peanuts, they're worth anything but. The outfits are headed to eBay.
And the auction proceeds will go to support Dress for Success, which is a program that aids economically disadvantaged women to get back into the workplace.
Isaac Mizrahi, Betsy Johnson, and Heatherette were just some of the big-name designers to take part.
Ingrid Hoffman, who's with Food Network, said that she was delighted to design a fashion because she'd always been such a huge Peanuts fan. And I know Isaac Mizrahi, for example, is also another huge Peanuts fan, and so I think they were very happy to do that, as well as support Dress for Success.
The Snoopy and Fashion exhibit runs through November 9th, and the outfits on display will actually be at online auction starting next week. For more information, log on to KFTY.com. Summer is here, and many are spending their days on the water, but whether it's in a lake, river, or your own backyard pool, there are some safety precautions to keep in mind. Carlos and Jack are just like any other little boys in the water. They like to splash around and dunk their heads under, but they're always careful to follow Mom's rules.
She tells me to do a backstroke, but I don't like doing it. I don't want to do a backstroke because I might fall into the water backwards.
I am in the water too, so
I am close to them, and but they can touch the bottom, so that's what is safe. You know, that's what makes me feel safe.
Cristina Sobremasa says her children are enrolled in swimming lessons.
So they know how to swim, and if they don't go farther that way, they will be fine.
Red Cross lifeguard instructor Matthew Reed says Cristina is making all the right moves.
Obviously, you want to be in there with them, or at least set boundaries and rules and have a plan before you go swimming, so be effective. If you're not a good swimmer, I don't want you going in the water any more than chest deep.
One thing that makes many children feel safer:
Floaties.
Floaties.
Yeah.
Do you like floaties?
Yeah.
Lily likes her floaties, but Reed warns against putting too much trust in them.
They can slip out of them, and there have been drownings that have occurred due to the floaties.
One more thing.
Alcohol and water do not mix.
That's right, adults need to be just as careful as children. In fact, there have been 3 adult drownings in the Russian River in the past 3 weeks alone. 2 of them did not know how to swim. Another man drowned in Lake Berryessa.
Again, understand the deceptive nature of water, especially if it's moving. You don't want to swim in murky water. You always want to make sure that you're swimming, in a kind of a designated swim area.
So remember to stay safe and follow the rules, ensuring you'll have a happy 4th of July.
As Commodore Longfellow said back in 1914 when he started teaching swim lessons through the American Red Cross, water can be a good friend or it can be a deadly enemy. And so you need to be very, very wise around water.
For more swimming tips and water safety classes, log on to arcsm.org.